My name is Jeff Malzer, and I serve as a volunteer for the Chamber of Commerce of Southwest Indiana's Government Affairs Committee. Today, I have the pleasure of interviewing Ron Bacon, who is a candidate seeking election to the office of State Representative for District 75. Please note that we're using the same set of questions for both candidates running for this office. Welcome, Ron.
Thank you.
Let's get started. Please state your name, the office you are seeking, and your current position or employment.
Ron Bacon, seeking the office of Indiana State Representative of District 75, and I'm the current representative. And employment-wise, I own Freedom Medical.
Okay, great. If elected, what would be your top 3 priorities, and how would you seek to fund and implement those priorities while serving in the state legislature?
Well, my number one priority is still the same as the last time, is to balance the budget. This is a budget balancing year, to have a balanced budget and have no tax increases. We already have done well in Indiana as far as keeping ourselves in great shape, and we want to continue to do that. I want to continue working to bring jobs to southwestern Indiana, and we've done a fairly decent job of that. We've got lots to work with, and we want to continue working and making improvements so that we can bring more jobs and opportunities here, and then work really hard with the existing businesses to keep the jobs that we already have.
Great. Do you support the Kernan-Shepard initiative? And please explain your answer.
That's a tough one. I understand the initiative, and I would support it to the point that it sounds like a very good idea. The problem I've had with the whole thing is there's no plan in place to replace township government. And that's been my biggest downfall in that. I totally understand what they're trying to do to make government more efficient, to make it smaller, and I'm in total agreement to do that, but the people are used to township government, and unless you have a complete plan ready in place to change that, we're not going to get the public to go along with it. And so I really think that's what we need to do, is say, we need to do this, but here's the plan before we say we're going to do it.
Okay. During the next session of the General Assembly, legislators will be tasked with writing a new budget. What are your priorities? What priorities would you advocate in this process? And if a budget increase is needed, what taxes would you increase, and what budget cuts would you propose?
Well, as I just said earlier, this is the balance. We will balance the budget, and that's the only thing I will vote for. And Indiana is doing well financially. I see no reason to increase taxes whatsoever. So I don't see that I'll be voting to do that. I think all the departments must continue to look and see how efficiently they are run, and to see where they can cut if they need to cut. And always, even if they don't need to cut, they should still look at their efficiencies and see if there's any places they can save money. And I think most of them have been doing that. But there's some big departments we need to look at. FSSA is one for sure, and some of the others, just the general size of them makes it very difficult to look and see what they need to do.
Okay. What would you consider to be the top transportation and infrastructure priorities for Southwest Indiana, and what plans do you have for funding them?
We need to finish Interstate 69. That is our top priority, and it's my top priority also. I think we have the plan in place. We're looking forward for the new governor to tell us how we're going to finish it in the northern part. We will be finished to Crane. I think that is going to help tremendously southwestern Indiana, and but we need to get it down all the way to Indianapolis. So that's going to be the top thing. How to do that, I'm really not sure yet. We're going to have to look at the budget issues and see where we're at financially, and see what monies we can have. The federal government has done some changes as far as the amount of transportation money we're going to be getting in Indiana. So I think we need to see about utilizing that and see what else we can do.
Okay. What would you do to encourage the construction of the I-69 bridge over the Ohio River between Evansville and Henderson?
Well, the voices of I-69 are still meeting. I didn't get to go to the last meeting, but they've been working with Kentucky, and as far as getting the bridge going and seeing how we can do that, I think we need to continue doing that, working with them, and seeing where we can do it. It's just going to take a concentrated effort. It's going to be a few years before we can get it done, but we need to plan it now and keep working on it and see how we can go.
Okay. Government does not create jobs, but it does create the conditions that make additional jobs more or less likely. What conditions or economic development tools would you like to see improved upon or added in order to stimulate economic growth create jobs, and retain current employees in Southwest Indiana?
I think if we see it with a balanced budget and financially that we're doing a fairly good job, another decrease in the corporate income tax would probably be the best thing to help bring corporations to Indiana. We're competing regionally very well with the companies that are trying to locate in our area. I worked with two different organizations, one up in the Elberfeld Industrial Park, North American Lighting, and I mean, that was the main thing that brought them here versus us competing with Kentucky. The other one was Hamilton Point, and the same thing is there. We have everything in place, the education programs that are there and needed to bring industry to southwestern Indiana. And there's a lot of things going on, so another decrease in the corporate income tax if we can afford to do it, and that would be, I think, the main thing that would keep us in competitive range with our neighbors.
Okay. Substance abuse, particularly methamphetamine abuse, is a costly community problem in terms of law enforcement, crime, judicial incarceration, fire hazard, environmental concerns, child care, health care, and other expenditures. What changes in the approach to this problem would you suggest, and how would you fund the new strategies?
As everybody knows, I've been the lead person for this in southwestern Indiana to reschedule pseudoephedrine. That is the only way we're going to stop the methamphetamine manufacturing in this area. We are #1 in the country, and rescheduling pseudoephedrine is the only way it's going to stop. We are not going to stop addiction. That is not a legislative process that we can take care of, but the manufacturing is the main thing, and that is where the cost is, and that's where we're driving up all of our costs and expenses, and we have got to reschedule it. I've introduced the bill last year to reschedule it, and of course it didn't get a hearing. I will reintroduce it again this year in the next session, and also we had a bill also to make southwestern Indiana a trial area to do it, because right now we can't do anything that's any more stringent than state law. So I'd like to see that changed so that we who have the problems can deal with our problem locally and try to do that. So, but they're not allowing us to do that right now.
Okay. Finally, what is your long-term vision for Southwest Indiana, and what specific ideas or proposals would you suggest to improve the quality of life in our region?
We need to just improve what we have. I mean, this is a great place to live and raise your kids and run a business, and it's perfect as far as I'm concerned. But we need to improve some of the things, our education funding, so that we have a great education system down here. I want to see that continue and improve. We worked on the school funding formula 2 years ago, and I want to see that continue to improve so that we get the same amount of money that Indianapolis and Gary and some of the others do, and the new funding formula is going to move in that direction. I want to continue doing that. Excuse me. We need to work with the chamber. I know that they did a vision study last year, the year before, I'm not sure, that showed the top 10 areas that we need to improve in. Some of the ones I can remember offhand was to try and get the 30 and 40-year-olds to motivate and live here. They need more biking trails, riding trails in that area. I know that we're working on that in Vanderburgh County. I'd like to see that extended into Ward County and my other areas and some of that. So it makes it just a nice, a more pleasant place to live.
Okay. Ron Bacon, we greatly appreciate your time today. If you have a campaign website or contact information, would you please share that with us now?
It's www.ronbacon.com, and that's the website, and we're happy to have you there.
Great. Thanks again for your participation. For our viewers, this interview and all the candidate interviews conducted by the Chamber of Commerce of Southwest Indiana will be accessible on the Chamber's website at www.ccswin.com. Please note the content of this video interview and all the candidate interviews are for the authorized use by the Chamber of Commerce of Southwest Indiana.